My girlfriend stole my sperm to make money, but she didn't know I was rich. Going home with my girlfriend for the new year. My girlfriend's mother saw that I was tall, handsome and had some money, so she brought a few ugly women to talk to me. Please give us some sperm to improve the family genes. My girlfriend looked unhappy, but she thought her mother made sense. You're just watching a little movie, and they can deal with the sperm themselves. You can't be considered sorry to me. Later, I overheard a conversation between my girlfriend and her mother about how she was planning to get someone pregnant in order to blackmail me. In a fit of anger, I said to my mother, there is no need to prepare 999,999,000 yuan, a villa, 2 cars, or 2 shops. The fun starts right away. If you like it, remember to click to subscribe. When she saw my name and profile picture on the rich list, she was pissed. I was very excited to go home happily with Sophia to celebrate the new year. My parents and I have already discussed it and will propose marriage when the time comes. 999,999 million, a villa, 2 cars and 2 shops for our little home. But I didn't expect that when I went home with Sophia for the new year, I would encounter a series of strange things that destroyed my worldview. I had just parked my car when my brother Sophia took a firecracker and threw it on the roof of my car, blowing up my newly put on car cover. Sophia said to me in front of her brother, the child is naughty, the car can still be driven, don't make a fuss about it, or it will leave a bad impression on my parents. My brother is my parents' baby. I looked at Sophia's brother, who was the same height as me, but 3 years younger. When he saw me looking at him, he spat at me proudly. From childhood to adulthood, no one has dared to be so arrogant in front of me. The anger in my heart has already reached my throat. But I still forced myself to suppress it. For my girlfriend and for the first impression of my future mother-in-law and father-in-law. I could only force a smile and say, I know your parents love you too the most, so of course I won't argue with your brother. Sophia was very satisfied with my attitude. She leaned in my arms and said coquettishly, hubby, you are so good. We will be together forever in this life and the next. With the one I love in my arms, all the unhappiness I just had disappeared. But Sophia's brother rushed over and bumped into my back, and deliberately poked my waist with a sharp object in his hand. It hurt so much that my teeth were broken. One of them couldn't help cursing, are you sick? Seeing this, Sophia pushed me hard and blamed me, saying, why are you so fierce? He is my brother. I put my palms on my lower back and said aggrievedly, but he poked me with a rock on purpose. It hurts, baby. Sophia didn't believe me at all, you're lying. My brother is not that kind of person. He's not as cunning as you are. He just blew up your car. Is there any need to wrongly accuse him? With that, she took Sophia's brother home. I followed behind, explaining and begging for mercy. In the end, Sophia only paid attention to me after I transferred her 10,000 yuan as an apology fee. It was soon time for dinner. All night long, Sophia's mother, kept looking at me with a smile and a scrutinizing eye. She kept saying, you are such a handsome boy. It makes people feel better when they see you. You have white and straight teeth and you are tall. My daughter is so lucky. I felt embarrassed by Sophia's mother's praise and could only lower my head and eat to hide my shyness. Sophia's mother's attitude made me think that she was very satisfied with me as her future son-in-law, so I slept soundly at night. By noon the next day, I felt that my life was over. Sophia's mother brought 4 ugly guys to stand in front of me. How ugly can it be? It was the first time I saw inverted triangle eyes and triple-double eyelids on the same face. His nose was upturned with visible nostrils, without a bridge, and his mouth was very thick, like 2 slices of spicy red ham. He had a square face and a hunchbacked figure with uneven shoulders. It's a bit eye-catching. I sat there on pins and needles, and my butt felt like it was being pricked by thousands of needles. Not to mention the other 3, one is a black girl, one is 150 centimeters tall and weighs over 300 pounds, and one is malnourished and looks like she would fall down with a slight push. The way the 4 of them looked at me was like pork belly in a pot, with possessive desire in their eyes. I asked Sophia's mother with a trembling voice, Auntie, what is this for? Sophia's mother smiled and asked me kindly, Michael, Auntie asks you, are these 4 ugly? I automatically turned my head and glanced at Sophia. She was completely uninterested in me and was just looking down at her phone, browsing clothes. I swallowed hard, avoiding the expectant looks of the 4 people, closed my eyes and gritted my teeth and said, it's not bad. Sophia's mother groaned, then said, not bad? Don't you think the 4 of them are too ugly to look at? What's with you men's eyes? Listening to what Sophia's mother said, I was confused and had no idea what to do. So I asked directly, Auntie, what do you want to do? Just tell me. Sophia's mother rubbed her palms together and said to me expectantly, Hey, it's like this, Auntie thinks you are very pretty. Please give us some sperm to improve the family genes. The water I just put into my mouth sprayed out directly. I thought I heard it wrong. Her voice broke as she spoke, Auntie, you are kidding me, right? I am your daughter's boyfriend. Do you think this is reasonable? I opened my hands in disbelief, rubbed Sophia hard, and blinked desperately, hoping that she could save me. My girlfriend looked confused, but she thought her mother was right, it makes sense. Anyway, you just watch a little movie, and they can deal with the sperm themselves when the time comes. You won't be sorry to me. Huh? I seem to have heard a huge joke. When people are speechless, they always cover it up with laughter. The black girl standing in front of me said, Don't worry, handsome boy. You don't need to be responsible for the birth of the child. We will take care of it ourselves. Yes, yes. We just want your genes. We're not greedy. You're Sophia's boyfriend. Besides, she agreed. Yes, they have taken our money, so they don't care. It would be even better if we could have some intimate contact with the handsome boy, hee hee. The more they talked, the darker my face became. When Sophia's mother found out that someone had let the cat out of the bag, she immediately kicked the 4 ugly girls out and explained to me. Michael, I didn't ask you to do this for money. I just feel sorry for you. Except for Sophia, who inherited my good genes, all the other children in our Sophia family inherited the bad genes from their parents. I am so worried. Sophia continued nonchalantly, Michael, stop wasting time. You're searching like this just for a few sperms. I was so angry that I blurted out, Then I'll let another man have a baby in your belly, are you willing? What greeted me was 2 slaps from Sophia. She cursed with red eyes, Michael, you are a hooligan. I sneered and said sadly, if you say you are a gangster, then what is mine? Seeing that Sophia was still only caring about herself, I got angry, picked up my phone, and drove away. At this time, Sophia's mother forced Sophia and me to apologize and asked me not to leave. Michael, Auntie, and Sophia were just joking with you. Don't get excited. If you tell others that you're leaving on New Year's Day, they will laugh at you. Sophia reluctantly tried to persuade me to stay. Well, if you don't want to, forget it. You can just help me find a few decent-looking ones to introduce to my cousins in the future. Seeing Sophia apologize first, my heart softened again, and I turned off the engine and got out of the car. Don't make such jokes next time. I don't like it. You know that you are the one I love most in my heart. Sophia smiled and said, I know, my husband is so cute and can't take a joke at all. After saying that, she took me to visit relatives. I drank a lot of wine and was a little confused. After we got home, Sophia kept urging me to take a shower. When I came out, the room smelled sweet. Sophia was sitting on the bed in a sexy lace dress, her legs crossed and long and white. Under her seduction. We both had a sweaty workout. I was so tired that I almost fell asleep in the middle of the night. Sophia called me several times, but I didn't have the energy to respond. She thought I was asleep. I quietly got out of bed, walked to the trash can and took out the small umbrella that I had just thrown in. All of a sudden, I sobered up and watched her walk to the door, open it and make a phone call. Come and get it quickly. The faster this thing is injected into the body, the higher the success rate. I wanted to stop it, but I found that my whole body was weak and my head felt like it was filled with cement and I couldn't lift my head. Because of the excitement, my blood flow increased and I felt dizzy and almost fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up again, I saw Sophia lying next to me. I didn't care about anything else and just woke her up. Sophia, who did you give my offspring to last night? Sophia didn't expect that I discovered her, and said impatiently, give it to those sisters you saw yesterday. I told you that I will only use you a little bit, and you don't have to touch them. Why are you in such a hurry? I pounded the quilt with my hands in silence. This is a matter of principle. Why do you do this? I don't agree. As I said that, I got out of bed and went to look for those 4 ugly guys. Halfway through my walk, I realized I had no idea where they lived. I went back and heard the conversation between Sophia's mother and Sophia. Daughter, why don't you stop me? If he ruins this plan and the baby doesn't come out, how are you going to get more money from him in the future? Sophia said impatiently, don't worry, Mom. I can't get pregnant easily. Michael likes me so much that he will definitely compromise in the end. I heard that his parents are also soft persimmons. I will go to their house and make trouble after the child is born. I will threaten them that if they don't give me money, I will sue Michael for rape and put him in jail. He will make us pay even if he loses everything he has. Sophia's mother clapped her hands and laughed when she heard it, saying, "Oh my God, that must be a lot of money, ha 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 ha." Listening to the plan that the mother and daughter were plotting, I was so angry that a fire was burning in my chest. In the end, I didn't rush into question. Instead, he recorded their conversation and started collecting evidence. My mother called me and asked, "My eldest son, did you have a smooth journey there? Do you need help from mom and dad?" I tried my best to sound normal. "Mom, I may not propose marriage. Please take back what you prepared. Also, I mentioned the blind date before. I think we can go meet each other then." When my parents heard this, they didn't ask any more questions, but instead assured me that I must tell them if I encountered any trouble. After hanging up the phone, I called a childhood friend. He has a wide network of contacts, so I asked him to help me with two things. When I was in school, I played COS and learned some makeup and disguise. I secretly bought the materials outside. After fiddling with my face for a while, I soon put on a mask and sneaked into my car with a somewhat strange face. I did it on purpose so that Sophia's brother could see it because I knew he was watching me. Soon after I started the car, Sophia's brother stopped in front of my car and called Sophia. "Sis, Michael is about to run away, come quickly." After a while, Sophia's mother and Sophia ran out, followed by Sophia's father. But he likes to drink all day long as nothing happens to his beloved son. He usually doesn't bother to pay attention. Sophia yelled at me, "Where are you going?" Seeing that I was wearing a mask, she looked at me warily, afraid that I would run away, and got on the passenger seat. I said with some difficulty, "I feel a little unwell and want to go to the hospital. Can you wait for me at home?" Sophia's mother got in the back seat and said, "If you feel unwell, we will accompany you to the hospital. It would be pitiful for you to go alone." Under their insistence, I had no choice but to nod. When I drove to the plastic surgery hospital, I asked them to wait for me at the door. Sophia's mother said, "Michael, are you doing this on purpose because we used your sperm?" I smiled and said, "Nothing serious. I just fell and broke my nose. I want to see a doctor to fix it." After saying that, I took off my mask, and a crooked nose appeared in front of the two people. Sophia touched it out of curiosity. I shouted a few times with a painful expression, and the two of them watched me go in with half belief and half doubt. When I got to the doctor's office, I closed the door and talked for a long time inside. Suddenly, the door was opened from the outside, and the doctor and I looked at them nervously. Sophia's mother noticed the doctor trying to hide something, so she rushed over and snatched the photo from his hand. Sophia pointed at me in disbelief and said, "Michael, have you had plastic surgery?" I quickly shook my head to deny it. Sophia's mother screamed at this time, "It's so ugly, my God." She looked at me in disbelief, "Michael, you were so ugly before?" Sophia snatched the photo from Sophia's mother's hand. She took a look at the computer and found my old face on the photo. She has a round face, single eyelids, acne scars all over her face, and a big nose. There is no beauty at all. Seeing the photo, Sophia couldn't help vomiting and screamed, "Why didn't you tell me in advance that you had plastic surgery?" Sophia's mother's face turned gloomy at this time, and she looked at me as if she wanted to kill me. I took the opportunity to kneel down on one knee and begged Sophia, "Sophia, it's my fault that I kept it from you, but my parents have bad genes. They thought I was too ugly, so they started to have surgery on me when I was an adult. I had no choice. I didn't mean to keep it from you." Because the mother and daughter couldn't accept the fact that I had plastic surgery, they took a taxi back to their hometown angrily. I followed behind to the house and begged Sophia for forgiveness. During the new year, the villagers liked to watch and chat. So when someone saw me shouting at the top of my lungs, it piqued their curiosity. Now the news reached the ears of the four ugly girls, and they rushed to the door in a rage. He scolded Sophia's mother, "Sophia's mother, do you want our genes to continue to be ugly? You actually sent an ugly person who had a complete facelift to screen us for Down syndrome and gave us money." I immediately became upset and stood up to argue with the four ugly women. "What's wrong with plastic surgery? At least I'm handsome now. Why do you still say I'm ugly?" After some confused villagers came to mediate the fight, they found out that Sophia's mother had accepted money from the four ugliest women in the village. They want my sperm for genetic modification. Some elderly people with old-fashioned ideas simply chopped off their crutches and blamed Sophia's mother and Sophia. "You guys are really crazy about money. Although it's hard for them to get married, no one will want them anymore after what you did. How can other villages talk about our village behind our backs?" That's right, it's so embarrassing to do such a disgusting thing. Sophia and Sophia's mother were scolded by the villagers on the spot until their faces turned green. Sophia yelled at me, "Michael blames you for all the good things you did, why don't you fix it for me?" I said helplessly, "What's the problem? You took my umbrella secretly. I didn't do it on purpose. Why are you blaming me?" I planned to add fuel to the fire, so I took out the ugly photo and showed it to the four ugly women. "Are you sure you want to have a child with my genes? I have had plastic surgery, but you can't change my genes." After seeing this, the four ugly women said in unison, "This fucking thing is uglier than me." Sophia's mother, "Sophia, you have to pay us back, and you have to pay for the abortion, physical damages, and mental damages." The four women went up and started fighting with Sophia and her daughter. In an instant, the shameless deeds of Sophia's family spread. As a result, Sophia's father was always laughed at by his drinking buddies at the table when he went out drinking. He was so angry that he came back and beat up Sophia and her daughter, and then he ordered me to leave. "Get out of my house, you shameless plastic surgery freak. I don't agree with you being with my daughter." I continued to act, "No, uncle, I really love Sophia. If I'm not satisfied with the appearance of the child in the future, I can work hard to earn money to give him plastic surgery." Because there are four ugly-looking people in the village, they are laughed at when they go out, and are even called the ugly village. Sophia's father also doesn't want his descendants to be ugly. He drove me into his car with a kitchen knife and threatened me, "Get your car away from me. If you say another word, I will chop you to death." I looked past Sophia's father and looked at Sophia behind him. She was looking at me with disgust. I said, "I don't care. I spent so much money on your daughter. You can tell me to leave if you want me to. I will leave only if you return all the money I spent on Sophia." Sophia's father chopped my car with a kitchen knife without saying a word. Fortunately, the window was closed quickly, otherwise my head would have been hit by the knife. Fearing that he would really hurt me with a knife, I left Sophia's house and joined my brother and some tall and strong men. Then red couplets and banners were hung at the entrance of the village, all of which were about what Sophia had done to me. There is also a poster that details the process so that more people can come and watch and chat about the gossip. I bought a lot of New Year gift boxes at my own expense and received them for free. Now that the old ladies and the retired aunts knew about it, they told each other to come and get the gift boxes. They could receive the gift by listening to our 1-minute story. Then they went home eating melons and taking the gift boxes with them. Word of mouth spread, and everyone in the surrounding villages knew about Sophia. There were even young people on the street who came to learn more about it. When Sophia's family found out, they came angrily with kitchen knives and found several muscular men standing around me. Sophia asked me with red eyes, "What do you want me to do to let you go? Why do you want to destroy my reputation?" I didn't want to talk much. My hair stood on end when I thought about the conversation she had with her mother that day. She said, "My request is not high. I will let those four ugly guys check my body and make sure that I am not pregnant. I probably won't get back all the money I spent on you, but I want back 400,000 yuan. After hearing this, Sophia's face turned extremely bad, because she now had exactly 400,000 yuan in her card, which was the money I transferred to her when she wanted to buy a car. She went to look at cars before the new year and was struggling to decide which one to buy. She posted a message about buying a car after the new year on her WeChat moments in advance. "Are you still a man? How can you take back the money you spent on a woman?" Sophia's brother thrust his hand in, pointed at me and said, "Once it goes into my sister's pocket, it's our Sophia family's money. You can't take it away." As soon as he spoke, a tall man next to me walked up, looked down at Sophia's brother with a fierce look in his eyes, and just uttered a low "Hmm." Sophia's brother was so scared that he stepped back repeatedly. Sophia's father pointed a knife at the tall man and threatened, "If you dare to touch my son, I will kill you even if it costs me my life." The tall guy was not afraid. He snatched the kitchen knife from Sophia's father's hand and played with it in his own hand. He said disdainfully, "Save your energy, while I was playing with the knife, you were still making a child." With just a gentle push, Sophia's father collapsed on the ground in fear. Sophia's mother wanted to rush over and tear up the banners, but was stopped and couldn't even touch them. I held up my phone to record a video of them and said, "You guys keep making trouble. If we don't reach an agreement today, I will post the video online and say that you, Sophia, are a relationship scammer who is trying to get money. You also deliberately asked men for sperm to give to women I don't know. You and her mother are shamelessly planning to have my child in the future. You are here to blackmail me. I will sue you for extortion. I deliberately released the video I recorded at that time, and now Sophia couldn't pretend anymore. She yelled at me, "I'll give you money, so stop making trouble." Sophia's mother looked at me with eyes that looked like she wanted to kill me, but she didn't expect that I already knew their plan. The villagers didn't mind the noise and kept asking me what was going on, but were eventually driven away by Sophia's mother. After Sophia transferred 400,000 yuan to me, she immediately blocked me and kicked me out. Sophia's notoriety spread during the Chinese New Year. Because the news of the 4 ugly women stealing other people's sperm also spread. The rumors became more and more outrageous, causing the 4 of them to be too embarrassed to go out again. They could only hide at home and cry secretly. They were originally unable to get married, but they couldn't wait to get the news of having a child out. Many divorced men with children, single old men of 50 years, disabled people, and men on the minimum living allowance who cannot find a wife, are seeking marriage from all directions. The parents of the 4 ugly girls also held a grudge against Sophia's family because of these things. Not long after, the chickens and ducks in Sophia's family died overnight, and the vegetables she planted were pulled out and fed to the fish. They knew who did it, but they had no evidence, so they could only swallow their anger. After disgusting Sophia's family, I went home and had a few meals with the blind date my mother introduced to me. After meeting a few times, I felt that we got along quite well. She would confess to me how she broke up with her last partner. I also told her about what happened during the Chinese New Year, and seeing that neither of us felt disgusted, we just started being friends. When I was with Sophia, I only told her that my family had a car and a house, but she didn't know that my family owned a company. In addition, when my mother first knew about Sophia, she said that she would not reveal her family background unless she got married. Now, this blind date candidate is considered to be a good match for me, as her family also runs a company. My mother's birthday is in a week. I accompanied Liwan to choose a gift and just got out of the car. I ran into Sophia, and there were other men standing next to her. The man was not short, had a fair complexion and an average look, but I could sense a hint of pretense from him. I didn't want to talk, but Sophia stopped me and looked at Liwan. With a mocking tone, he said, "Michael, I didn't expect that after leaving me, you would go and hook up with a rich woman." The man next to her had been looking at me from the beginning, and I also noticed a flash of jealousy in his eyes when he saw the luxury car behind us. He said with a sour tone, "Sophia, this is your ex who you said had plastic surgery and asked you to pay him back. He doesn't look that good either." As he spoke, he thrust his chest forward, revealing his pectoral muscles and showing off his good figure. "Yes." Sophia responded to the man, and then she said to me very proudly, "Michael, after breaking up with you, I realized that there are people who are better than you. He will not care about a little money, and even his sperm is at my disposal." I originally didn't want to pay attention to her arrogance, but Liwan couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Brother Michael, they actually said you had plastic surgery? And they also said you have no money? Oh my God, this is the biggest joke I have heard this year." Sophia was dissatisfied with Liwan's words and frowned, saying, "Am I right? I saw his photos before the plastic surgery in the hospital." As soon as I finished speaking, Liwan's little hand shook left and right at the root of my nose to confirm my real nose, and even pulled up my eyelids to show her. "Beauty, do you think plastic surgery can create such a perfect face without scars? And I'll tell you another secret, 9,999,999 million yuan, a villa, 2 cars, and 2 shops were all prepared by Michael and you when we went home for the new year to propose to your family. It's a pity that you missed a good man because of your short-sightedness, but I also thank you for letting me meet him." Sophia looked incredulous, and the man next to her sneered, "Everyone can brag." Liwan chuckled and said, "Your name is Sophia, right? I suggest you look up Chi-Ching, the director of Michael's company, online. If you look at the column for family members, you will know if I am exaggerating." Sophia actually went for a checkup, and it turned out that her intestines were completely destroyed. Later she found out that my plastic surgery was fake and I lied to her. She tried various ways to contact me, but found that all my previous contact information had been cancelled. This method didn't work. She wanted to discredit me on the internet, but she found that all the people online were sharing photos of us hanging banners at the entrance of the village. She just posted a video and some netizens came to comment after smelling the fuss. "Hey, is this scumbag going to clear her name? Squat on the sofa, I want to see how she can clear her name." No matter how pitiful she acted, no one bought it. However, the news that I had started to learn in the family company and was the future successor had spread. I didn't expect it to become such a hit. Many netizens envy the loving marriage model of mom and dad. Even though my father is old, he has maintained his figure. He even works out and keeps his hair neatly combed. I have money, a good figure, and I love my wife. Many people also pay attention to my relationship. Li Wan and I get along well, so we decided to try dating first. Every time, she would post the gifts I gave her online to annoy Sophia. If no one cherishes me, I will. After doing all this, Li Wan smiled at me proudly, and I gave her a more expensive gift. Said, the wife wants to show off, and the husband gives you a lot, so go ahead and show off. One time, when I went to visit a project, I saw Sophia's younger brother being thrown out of the casino entrance. He had been addicted to gambling. I kept kneeling down and begging them, please lend me some more money. I will definitely win it back. I will definitely win it back. One of them said, repay it. Go home and find a way to raise money to pay back our boss first. When Sophia's brother refused to let go, she kicked him in the face several more times, swearing and cursing all the while. Looking at his body covered with scars, I just felt that he deserved it. I pretended not to see it and left. A month later, I don't know how Sophia found me. He rushed over and grabbed my clothes tightly with both hands, and the people around me tried to pull them open but failed. She looked much more haggard, and I said impatiently, what are you doing? Sophia's hands didn't loosen, but her face was extremely anxious as she said, Michael, I know it was wrong of me to treat you like that before, but I beg you to help me. My brother believed someone else and got a high-paying job. He went abroad and I can't get in touch with him. Can you help me find him and bring him back? At this time, Sophia's mother and Sophia's father also came to me and knelt down and kowtowed to me. Michael, what happened before was all the fault of my uncle and aunt. We apologized for our actions, but my son was kidnapped and taken abroad. They called and told us that if we didn't have $300,000, they would beat Sophia's brother to death. We only have one son. Without him, we can't survive. They wanted 300,000 yuan and we borrowed from everywhere to pay it back. But they said they wanted another 200,000 yuan if they wanted us to return home safely. We don't have the money. He already owed more than 1 million yuan in debt. Now he has sold his house and has no money left. Please, help me. I shook off Sophia and distanced myself from her, thinking about how he had set off firecrackers on my car and how arrogant he had been to me. I said, I'm sorry, I have no obligation to help you. The fact that he was tricked into going abroad only means that he deserved it. If he hadn't been so self-righteous, would he have been able to go abroad? He did it voluntarily. I refused very decisively, and Sophia took out a fruit knife and stabbed herself in the thigh very decisively. It was so smooth that everyone was stunned for 4 or 5 seconds before they reacted. I didn't expect Sophia would go this far for her brother. I said, are you crazy? Just as she finished speaking, Sophia pulled out a fruit knife and stabbed herself again. The pain made her sweat profusely and she spoke with a trembling voice. If you don't save my brother, I will stab him to death in front of you. Sophia's father and Sophia's mother didn't care about their daughter at all, but forced me to speak. Yes, if you don't help us rescue our son, my daughter will stab herself to death in front of you. People around me advised me to ignore it, but a life was right in front of me and I couldn't just stand by and watch it die. Finally, I agreed to find a way to save Sophia's brother, but I said it coldly when I saw Sophia's thighs covered in blood. I can only say that I will try to find a way. Whether he can be saved or not depends on his own life. And you should deal with the wound you stabbed yourself. I just recorded the whole process. Indicating that someone behind her had been recording the video with her mobile phone, Sophia looked pale and ugly, and she pursed her lips in silence. Finally, Michael, can't we go back to the past? I said with disdain, shut your mouth. If you say one more word, I won't help you at all. After sending Sophia and her family of 3 away, my friend asked me, are you really helping? I said, I don't have that much power. I just want to use a favor. Later, I sought help from some connections and got Sophia's brother out of there. When he returned to China, his body was covered with scars. One of his kidneys had been cut, one leg was lame, 3 of his fingers were chopped off, and he was no longer conscious. After this matter was settled, Sophia wanted to rekindle our old relationship by using various excuses to express her gratitude. The last time I met her, Li Wan was with her. Sophia was obviously dressed up carefully. When she saw Li Wan, disappointment flashed across her face and she looked at me with pitiful eyes. I said with a distant tone, don't think that we can go back just because I rescued your brother. This time I helped you to repay your kindness in calling an ambulance for me at the bottom of the mountain. From now on, we owe each other nothing. Sophia and I met when we went hiking. I accidentally slipped and fell down the mountain, breaking my leg, and I didn't know where my phone was dropped. It was cold and there were few people around. I kept shouting for help. It was Sophia who heard me and called for rescuers. Sophia can be so unscrupulous when she is with me. It's just because she thinks she saved my life, so it's natural for her to order me around. I also indulged her in everything, but it only made her bolder. Sophia's eyes immediately turned red with excitement and she said, "I don't want it, Michael, I found that I still love you. These days I can always think of the days when we were together." Liwan held my hand and retorted, "But my fiancé's mind is full of memories of our time together. What you think is your business? Please stop interfering in other people's relationships in the future, or I won't forgive you." Sophia choked up and said in disbelief, "Are you engaged?" When she saw me nod, she started to go crazy again. Fortunately, I found a bodyguard and stopped her in no time. I took Liwan's hand and left without looking back. Later, Liwan and I held our wedding and we started living a low-key life. By chance, some more news came to my ears, that Sophia was deceived and went abroad again. Now they are asking Sophia's mother and her husband to pay money to redeem her. They can't even afford to eat now, how can they have the money to redeem them? However, they remembered that I was able to rescue their son, and started looking for news about me again. But the result was that no one paid any attention to them. The two wanted to play pitiful roles online to gain sympathy, but unfortunately they were suppressed by our public relations team who spent money on them. Each video I post gets 2 or 3 views. When I saved Sophia's brother, I had to pay a favor to save him. How is Sophia now? That has nothing to do with me, after all, it was all her own fault. Sophia's mother and parents couldn't find me, and it was difficult for them to survive, let alone raise a stupid son. They put Sophia's matter behind them. 3 years later, Sophia was kicked out of the foreign campus and was able to return home, where she spent several more years in jail. My child was already in elementary school when she got out. I found out about it because of a piece of news. The daughter reiterated that she hated her parents for not saving her, which caused her to suffer humiliation abroad, become physically disabled in many places, and have her uterus removed due to multiple miscarriages. Why did I have to stay there for 3 years when my brother was rescued right away? Do you know what kind of life I lived? Why don't you ask Michael for help? She stabbed her parents and brother to death one by one when she was caught by the police. She was serving other men in bed. I want to infect you with AIDS. Don't stop me. Don't stop me. As soon as Sophia said this, the man on the bed turned pale. He went to the hospital for a checkup and took blocking drugs. When he found out that Sophia really had AIDS, he went crazy. When his wife and children found out, they divorced him and kicked him out of the house, leaving him with nothing. After Sophia was arrested, she was sentenced to death. Before she died, she wanted to get rid of the police, so she contacted me and asked me to see her for the last time. I'm too lazy to pay attention to her because my wife and children at home still need my care. Later, when my parents retired, my wife and I started to manage 2 companies, and our days became busier and busier. The children have grown up to be tall and good-looking, and I always teach them. In the outside world, human nature is the most terrifying, so you have to learn to identify bad people, okay? Because of my long-term teaching, my child escaped the experience of being stolen by human traffickers. They also knew to run to the police station to report the crime, and in a short period of time they relied on their super memory to describe the details of the traffickers. The police caught the human trafficker in 2 days. After I heard the news, I happily rewarded my child with an Ultraman. My parents started traveling around the world, and I would send my children to live with them during the winter and summer vacations to broaden their horizons. At the same time, I want to spend some time alone with my wife.